I'm Emory Bradley. Today I'm in the Center School community in Cottage Grove, Tennessee, and I'm having a conversation with Dan Paschall. Dan has been living in this community and area all his life. He married his wife Betty and raised 2 children, 5 grandsons, and raising 2 grandchildren in this general area. Um, I would like for Dan to share with us today a little bit about his leadership experience and what he considers success to be. Over the years, he's been a farmer, a community leader through Rotary, serving as county commissioner, budget committee, school board, farm bureau board, and many, many other capacities. Dan, do you want to make any opening comments before I ask you a couple of questions?
Uh, just that the good Lord has been awfully good to me all my days, and that's. I'll let you take over and lead the conversation from there.
Okay, give us a brief description of your career.
I've been on. Well, I started out. I went to Purdue for 6 months or 1 semester. And the only thing I learned there was an instructor. He wasn't even a professor. That told the whole class that if he could learn us to think, he would accomplish something. And if he didn't learn us to think, we ought to have been at home to start with. Then I went in service for 3 years and was stationed in Hawaii for 26 months. Came home and started farming with my dad, and we farmed together for 6, 7 years. And one day he told me I was in too big a hurry for just to go ahead. He'd be there when I got back. And so far I never did come back. But at that time in history, there was a lot of people that did come back because there was a lot of people older than I am made real good money, and a lot of people a little younger than I am went broke.
Mm-hmm.
I was in that niche that most of us made it, got our start, and were fairly successful, I guess, depending on your definition of success.
Okay.
We accumulated a lot.
What is your definition of success?
My definition of success is if you know who you are and are satisfied with it, you're successful. And that's sort of vague in a way, but there's room for a whole lot of thought in that statement.
There is. That's a good statement. I'm glad we're recording that today. As you were growing into your farming operation and your family, what influenced you to be a successful community leader?
Well, I told you I thought God had been good to me. And I think there's a verse back in Genesis when he said that he wanted us to tend his garden. And I think tending his garden, I interpret it to mean that the world is supposed to be a better place to live after you've been here than it was before you were here. I think that should be all of our goal, is to make God's world a better place because we were here.
Mm-hmm.
So I got involved in this, that, and the other, and tried to make a difference.
Very good. I agree that you have. What event or events has happened in your career that caused our community to be more successful?
Well, that's a big question, Emory. I really don't know. I don't feel like I've had all that much impact. I've worked towards having an impact, but I guess one of the most unusual things about me, I think you can search pretty well search the world over and you won't find another full-time farmer that served as president of the Chamber of Commerce. Us farmers don't think we got time to do things like that. And I didn't have a lot of impact when I was in the chamber, but I had some. And so I guess my chamber activities, and as I look back on my Farm Bureau activities, I think if you go back, I don't even know whether they still got the same book of resolutions now that they have. But I think if you search that book of resolutions out that was there when I was involved, I had more verbiage in it than any other person ever has had. I was always sort of proud of that.
Okay, I think you're correct.
And so I don't know. You live your life and you don't know what impact you've had really. So I don't know what effect I've had on you or Mary Ann, but the fact that you're here today and Mary Ann is here today, neither one of the three of us will ever be the same again. I used to go to a lot of conservation activities, and I ran into several of what I call egghead environmentalists, and my parting shot at all of them was always, I put something in your computer today you'll never be able to get out. So the fact that we are associating at this moment in history, we will always be a little different from what we would have been if you'd have stayed in town this morning.
Thank you. Mary Ann is our camera technician today, and she's filming this for us, and I'm giving you that benefit of information to the people that are watching. If there was a message you could leave today for future generations, and that's what this filming is for, is for future generations to be able to look back at some of our leaders in our community, what would that message be if you could leave a message today?
Number one, be honest to yourself. And number two, be honest to everyone. Honesty is the most priceless commodity there is, in my opinion.
Very good. I agree with you. Thank you. How would you like to be remembered?
As an honest person.
Very good.
That's, and if you want to delve into that word honesty a little bit, Emory, you can be honest or dishonest, and you can be honest or dishonest and never say a word or talk all the time. Because if there's something going on that you don't agree with and you don't speak up, you're being dishonest.
I've heard you say that before, and I live by that now.
It's you got to live by your convictions, and that's just about all there is to it.
I'll conclude by saying that Mr. Paschall and Betty have 2 children, as I mentioned earlier, Pam and Andy, and they together produced 5 very special grandsons who were very outstanding in school and 4-H and FFA and other activities, and now they're finishing college and in college and going to college, and they're very outstanding young people, and I think that speaks very highly of you and Miss Betty.
Thank you.
The family that you've raised, and how I've been a part in that. I've gotten to watch them grow up and mature and be very outstanding people. And now there's 2 great-grandchildren, brand new great-granddaughter, first little girl in many, many years.
First one in the family, in the immediate family.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate you stopping your work today and giving us the opportunity to film some of your heritage.
Well, if I'm gonna be honest now, I wasn't working today.
Thank you, and thank you, Mary Ann, for providing the camera and the technical support today.